In this video, we're going to talk about even and odd functions. A function is even function when you substitute negative x for x, you still get the same result. And the interesting thing about even function is when you graph the even function, when you fold it along the y-axis, the graphs will overlap. So if you have xy, that xy will overlap with negative xy. Now function f is odd function. When you substitute negative x for x, you'll get the opposite of f of x. And graphically, it is symmetric about the origin, meaning you got to fold it twice. You need to fold it along the y-axis and fold along the x-axis for the graphs to overlap. So for example, if you have xy, you end up getting negative x, negative y for the odd function. So let's see whether f of x equals x cubed minus 7x is even or odd or neither. In order to find out, we need to put negative x for x, and we need to find out what happens. So let's substitute negative x for x. And you get negative x cubed, but this is the same thing as negative x times negative x times negative x. And what is that? That's positive 7x. And look at this. When you factor out negative, you get x cubed minus 7x, isn't it? Now, this is exactly the opposite of x cubed minus 7x. Because the opposite of x cubed minus 7x is that negative quantity x cubed minus 7x. So what happened? When we put negative x for x, we got opposite of f of x, because this was our f of x. So we could conclude that this function is odd function. Now we got g of x equals x to the fourth plus x squared minus 1. So we have g of negative x. We need to find out what happens when we substitute negative x for x. So we get quantity negative x to the fourth plus quantity negative x squared minus 1. So you end up getting x to the fourth plus x squared minus 1. And this is the same thing as g of x. So when we get g of negative x equals g of x, we can conclude that this function is even. So what does it mean when you graph this? It's going to be symmetrical with respect to the y-axis. And you probably want to check with the graphing calculator or Desmos, see if it's true. So what about h of x equals x cubed plus 2? Is this even or odd? Well, again, we have to, instead of that, we have to substitute negative x and see what happens. Negative x to the third is negative x cubed, isn't it? You got negative times negative times negative, and then plus 2. Now, what happens when you factor out the negative? You get x cubed minus 2. Now, what is the opposite of x cubed plus 2? Opposite of that will be negative quantity x cubed plus 2. So as you can see, this is not the opposite of this, and this is not exactly the same as x cubed plus 2. So what can we conclude? It's neither. This is neither even or odd.